Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Making a short little follow-up video. About a month ago, I put out a video telling you guys. Well, it's a little over a month ago that I put out a video telling you I was going to go have my teeth removed. And I never really followed up on that. And I don't know if anybody was curious as to how everything's going. So let's do it. 1 month later. So short recap. A little over a month ago, went to the dentist. Tough conversations. Teeth suck. Decision, full destruction. So, I already had quite a few problems with a bunch of my teeth, and 90% of them were just pretty much unsalvageable. Genetics. We'll put it that way. Genetics. It's not just that I was a lazy butthole and didn't try to take care of my teeth. Something I had since I was a little kid. And it sucked going to the dentist and then having dad really pissed off with me because he thinks I'm a lazy little shit. Took a few times until 10, 11 before a dentist kind of clued in on what was going on a little bit. And throughout the years, they kept trying to do some stuff to alleviate the problem a little bit, try to strengthen my teeth, try to do some stuff. They gave me weird clear gels to put on there that were supposed to help strengthen them, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Didn't really work out. So, most of my adult life, it was just a slow, there they go, slowly, whatever. And it just finally kind of got to a point of, if I let it go any further, I start risking possibility of really nasty infections and stuff. And from what I understand and what I've been told too, infection in your mouth go other places very easily and very quickly. So you don't want those. That's in like, we're talking like goes to your heart type thing. So infection in your mouth can flat kill you pretty quick. So take that to however you want to learn and know and do whatever. Try to take care of your stuff. Whether it's doing something like I did or just brush your damn teeth too. But anyways, so about a month ago, went in, had my procedure done. They knocked my ass out, but only for about 2/3 of it. Apparently, they had to wake me up a little ways into it. I vaguely kind of remember parts of it after they woke me up, but apparently they wake me up because I was so far gone. My tongue like was falling into the back of my throat, and I was like suffocating myself. So I remember I woke up and I remember some portions of some of it. I remember the last little bit. I think they were doing some stitches, so I could feel a little bit of pricks and pain, a little bit here and there. The one lady, when I went to it for another follow up, told me about how it's like apparently I was a little bit of a fighter when I came out. Nobody told me what I tried to do or could do. I couldn't do much because before they even put me under, they literally strapped my arms to the chair arms. Like they had just some straps and strapped me down like I was in an electric chair or something. So when I came out, I noticed that I couldn't feel my hands. So I must have been trying to lift and cut off my own circulation. But anyways, so fully removed, top and bottom, all teeth. Everything's gone. And something I wasn't expecting, kind of, but I mean, I was expecting, but it's still really strange to me is the fact that when you go do that, they throw these dentures in, which I'll show you a little bit later, straight in. You're just like, okay, your procedure's done. Here, take these. Pop, pop. Keep these in for 24 hours. It was just kind of, my brain initially thought I was supposed to heal first and then come back and get dentures. Whatever. Nope. I'm like, here you go, homie. Denture. Put them in. So you're supposed to keep them in. And I think the pressure of them helps with swelling and also dry sockets, all that kind of neat stuff, because you're applying pressure from like every direction because these things are on. So it was really strange. But I came out of it, and I think the dude was a little surprised how well I came out of it because I basically just stood up and I walked my own self out the damn place instead of everybody else was wheelchaired out. So I don't know. I've never been put under it before, so I've never had anesthesia stuff like that. So I don't know how I react, but apparently once I go, I'm super under, and then once I'm done, I guess I come right out of it. So, uh, strangely, I didn't have any major pain problems. They did give me some oxycodone, but I only took a couple of those. I didn't. Me and painkillers don't mix the greatest. Last time I tried taking some way back, I just felt sick as shit, so I don't like taking them, but I took one of those before bed for the first 2 or 3 nights just to help make sure I didn't get into pain. But basically, they just started me on ibuprofen, and I never really had any extreme amounts of pain. I was expecting it because I mean they just literally cut through all of my gums and into my jaw and all that, but it wasn't that bad. So, uh, yeah, 24 hours. Keep these in. First night is the only night I've ever done it, and probably the only night you're ever supposed to do it. I slept with these in. After that, you're supposed to take them out. But I went in the next day, went back in there, and had me take them out, and just kind of looked me over, said everything looks groovy for one night. I wasn't sure what to expect after one evening. It seemed like a very quick call to come back in. It's just like one day. I mean, I can understand after 2 or 3, but I guess they just want to make sure nothing looks like it's out of place or doing anything weird. So, yeah, after the first day, went in there, had them looked over, they popped them back in, said, all right, from here out, every night, just take them out before you go to bed. I was like, all right, cool. So, went for 1 week, went in that Thursday, same type of thing. What's going on? How's it feeling? Had to have them do some adjustments to one of them. And by adjustments, I mean stand behind me with a Dremel and literally just, and they just sat there and carved out parts of them. But it's really weird because the way they were feeling, it's like they're pushing in certain spots and doing stuff. And apparently I was starting a couple canker sores in a couple spots or whatever. And he's like, to be expected. It's normal. So he marked them and he did. It's almost like that. He kind of did something interesting, kind of like you see a lot of metal workers do when they're marking certain things. He had some sort of weird blue dye-ish type stuff, and he put it on the inside of a denture, put it back in, and pulled it back out, and apparently it was just like showing him where it was touching. So you just go in there, figure out where it would need to be, chisel certain things. Um, I did. I didn't pay attention to the name of it, but apparently I learned that on the bottom jaw, under your tongue there, towards the front, on both sides, you could probably try to feel around with your tongue and feel it. There's like a little nubs sticking out. Two of them, they just kind of like this, And apparently that's bone. And he's like, everybody has it, but it's just everybody's different with it. So like mine stick out a little bit. But he was talking about apparently one of the other dentists in there. He's like, yeah, hers almost touch. So hers go almost completely across underneath her tongue. I'm like, that's wild. But mine stick out just enough that my bottom denture was sitting on it like a freaking shelf. So I had these wicked sores on the bottom. So he had to kind of curve in, with his Dremel, make some weird curves in there so it wasn't touching anymore. Then I didn't have to go back in there for 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. And on that Thursday, by then I was doing pretty great. I didn't have any major problems. I was gonna have them adjust one or two tiny spots because I thought I was rubbing or whatever. But I'd already gotten to the point where basically I wear these things the entire day. And he being the dentist, was a little weirded out when I told him because apparently a lot of people don't like to wear them all the time, especially bottoms. Apparently, they always refer to them as like the ones that people put in their pocket. um, but I just wear mine the whole day. They don't bother me once they're in. I don't know if it's just I just got lucky, had the right formations, whatever. But he told me that he's like, oh, well, we were halfway expecting you to be not wearing them all the time. So apparently I might have slowed a little bit of my healing down a little bit by not having them exposed to air as much as they were expecting. So, yeah, on that one visit, They weren't quite, a couple of them weren't quite healed over. They were still a little, yeah, as he put it, they were still squishy. Apparently, he was in there squishing my gums. I don't know. I can't see. Um, so then 2 weeks later, I go back in, and that's when they're looking at my bottom jaw and my right side here, which mirrored because of video. But apparently, 2 spots. I had what I guess were called bone spurs developing. Apparently, it's some sort of weird thing that your body can do and just develop weird little spikes of bone. Um, so that one I had a different person in there. It wasn't the dentist that I've been rocking with the whole time, and they weren't sure what we wanted to do. So I had them make adjustments, and then she was like, "Well, let's give it another week. Come back in. Maybe we'll remove them then." So I came back another week later. The dude was talking like they're kind of my body's naturally doing it on its own, like it's trying to expel it. Like if you get a splinter or something, you'll notice it slowly tries to push it out of the skin, and you'll notice it slowly coming up to the surface. Apparently, that's what they were kind of doing. But he had one that he said he found one that was kind of sticking out. So he's like, I can try and get a hold of that, see what I can pull out. So all he did is he took that weird red crap you see him put on a swab, swabbed it, numbed me on that side over there. And I guess he just went in there with some like tweezers and whatever and just worked its way out and just like busted most of it off and busted it out. Then he told me, he's like, we'll see what we do from here out. So that was just this past Thursday. Today is the 15th. That'd be the 11th of August, 2022. Basically, we're at pretty much 1 month since I had the removal done. I no longer have any major appointments scheduled. After that last one here, the only thing we did is my bottom denture, he did something weird where he filled it with some sort of a weird silicon, and it almost looks like hot glue. But he had put it in my mouth, had me bite down for like 5 minutes so it would do whatever, but it formed inside the denture to kind of fill up some space and also give me a little bit of a like a gel in the soul type feeling. So when I'm trying to chew some stuff, kind of taking a little bit of the pressure away, so it's easier to chew. But other than that, nothing major right now. I might re-update a little bit later down the road some more. Here, I asked him, he said 3 months from now, ish, they're going to call me back in to do impressions again because these are not my permanent dentures. These are like a temporary thing you get for when you get your, right initially after you have all your removal and stuff done. Because everything's just off and weird. It takes a while for your gums to, well, especially when you first come out of there, because everything's just swollen and, it's just all out of whack. And then slowly the swelling goes away, but then also those holes are closing up, so everything's kind of shrinking. Then also apparently the bone adjusts, and, hold all that stuff. So they're like, usually it's about 5-6 months after you have your surgery is when you get your permanents. And so he said here in about 3 months, they're going to call me back in to have impressions done. Hopefully, I don't have to have actual physical impressions done again. So I had to have physical ones, like actual, like where they take like mouth guards, fill them with some sort of clay, epoxy, silicon, rubber. I don't know what the hell they used, but they fill it to the fucking brim, shove it in there, and they just shove super hard. And unfortunately for your top denture, because your denture covers the entirety of the inside of your roof of your mouth, there's only one place for all that shit to go. Right to the back. Yeah, you ever want to have a gag fest? I had 2 people holding me down while I was just sitting there just gagging. Called into work the next day. Like I had it felt like I had like a strongman workout after I was done. He had to do it twice because he messed up the first one. I would have probably survived had it only been the one. But initially what he tried to do is they have like a little scanner, Bob, that looks like an electric toothbrush damn near. and looks like they can do scans. So they'll do like a digital scan of all of your stuff. Well, I had one tooth that came in all wonky. It was a wisdom tooth. It's the only one I ever had, and the only one that came through. But it was back here on this side. Instead of coming in facing straight down, it faced straight out to the side. And because of the way it was and the way my inside of my mouth worked, he could not get the scan to finish over here. So he was like, "Sorry, dude, we gotta do the way this sucks." And I was like, "Okay." He tried to warn me, and I mean, good on him. He did very well, but man, I don't wish that on my worst enemy. That was horrible. You need to get some information out of somebody. I think I found it, man. We don't need to waterboard anybody. Shove that shit in there. But anyways, so I'll have to go get impressions done or scan. I don't know. I'm hoping a scan. I do not want to go through impressions again. But then once I have that done, I think in another month or so after that is when I'll get permanent dentures, which will be my final fits and whatever. From whatever research I've done, sounds like people are like it's night and day from when going from these to permanence. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. So I'm looking forward to it eventually when that happens. This wasn't cheap by any means. I don't know if I talked about that in my last video. That's the reason why I went with dentures versus a permanent implant. I think I just mentioned that it's expensive. Implants are expensive, like ridiculous, not including the actual surgery itself. But the way the implants work in most places, or at least the place I went to, you have to do 4 separate implants on the top, and then you can get away with 2 on the bottom, but it's preferred to do 4. So, I mean, you can cut it down by a bit, but more or less, they were quoting me and telling me, and obviously that's before insurance too. Insurance might have helped out and done some stuff. I mean, it helped with these, but it was like $5,000 per implant. Per implant. Basically, you're looking at $20,000 on top and 20 on the bottom, and then surgery. So before insurance, I mean, you're looking at like $50,000 just to do implants. It's insanity. So with these things, I can't remember the exact total. It was like 15 or 16,000, and then after insurance and stuff, still gonna run me about 9. So I'm gonna be paying these off for a little while, but it it's just like any sort of, well, it's a weird thing to say it, and it's a point that the dentist made for me too. This is a prosthetic. You don't think of it that way, but it's a prosthetic, kind of like somebody that needs a new leg or an arm or something. Granted, not quite the same class, but it is still a prosthetic limb, more or less. I'm replacing portion of my body with whatever, so it's worth doing. I kind of feel a lot better because I didn't realize how uncomfortable / possible pain I was in with the shape my mouth had gotten into. I just gotten used to it. But then having had these in it for a while now, I'm realizing just how much I wasn't digging life. Getting these now, I can tell I'm gonna be happy with paying for it. Sucks ass having to pay for it that much, but I'm gonna. It's worth it. Once my gums get used to these enough where I can really like hardcore chew. Right now, I can kind of chew some softer things. Like I can't do like a homemade burger. You always know how when you make a homemade burger, they're a little harder to bite through. It feels like something more substantial. That I'm having a hard time biting through. At least the initial, like you to bite through it to get the chunk out of the burger. The chewing on the sides when I was chewing them wasn't too bad. But like go to Wendy's or something because that meat's significantly softer for whatever reasons, processing, preservatives, blah blah blah. That I could do. I was able to bite through that and then also chew it. So I'm not eating basically just mac and cheese right now anymore. That's pretty much what I did for the first like 2 weeks. Most of my dinners, or a good chunk of my dinners, was an entire box of mac and cheese. I think I did the opposite of what most people probably have, where when they get something like this, they lose weight because they're not eating well. I didn't have a problem eating. I had a problem eating anything good for me. So now that I got that part of a little more under control, I think I'm gonna try to shed a couple lbs just to get. I'm not trying to get swole or shred, but just drop a couple because I think I put on a few more than I'm comfortable with. So, but I guess I can kind of show you guys these a little bit if you want. This is the part of the video that maybe you don't want to see me do. I don't know, because I'm just gonna take them out one at a time. I'm gonna hold them up, just kind of show you. I mean, everybody's seen it or think you've seen how it works and how easy or not it is. Mine right now are super easy because also I don't use any sort of adhesive creams yet or anything like that. A lot of people put in. I mean, everybody knows the name Fix-A-Dent. I haven't decided if I will ever or not or whatever. Maybe as some stuff adjusts more, I might have to. But as of right now, I don't put anything extra in there. These things are just holding solid as it is. That's what the dentist was saying. He's like, I got at least out of everything that happened. The formation of my mouth seems to go well with these. So let me see here. Pop the bottom one out first. See, the bottom one I can do with my tongue. Sorry, they're a little. You can kind of see it. Nothing too crazy about them. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's half a mouth guard. You ever played a sport in school? You did it. Top one, there's the way it forms. There's like a suction there. So that one, it at first when I put them in, you're gonna notice my speech change as I'm doing this too. The suction was pretty insane. Like I actually had to like really get a grip on here and like yank them out. Now it's just like it holds up there, but I can kind of hit it with my tongue a little bit, work it, and then just kind of get a good hold, and then I kind of pull it down. Sorry, there's a little spit on here. It was just in my mouth. So, but the same type of thing. You can see, there's no good way of doing this. That light's gonna shine on it, but you can see the big difference between the top and the bottom is look how solid that is. It travels back further, and all of that does causes some suction. And now you can hear I got the lisp and the whatever. I'm not gonna show you guys inside of my mouth because it's gums. I've done it too late now to show you, be like, hey, here's what all the holes look like or anything. So, but let me pop these back in. God, that looked weird, didn't it? So, once I pop them back in, you can hear I kind of insane. My speech is almost back to where it was before I had this any done. I don't really notice anything too significant, like that. A little dry. But, yeah, it's where I'm at. I'm not dying. Let me know if you guys want me to continue updating or if you have any questions or weird thoughts you want me to try to answer, or if you just have any kind of questions about it, period. I'm early on. I'm not a professional at this yet. I'm not pro denture yet. I'm amateur denture. Yeah, I'll be happy to answer stuff down in the comments down there. Could be fun. If anybody has any thoughts, questions, or anybody has any pointers for stuff, good things, like which kind of adhesives would be great if I decide to go that way. There's not a lot on the internet that I can find to give me great reviews or do whatever. It's some very vague whatever. I was just like, I'd rather not spend a buttload of my money experimenting. I'd rather just know. So if you got any info on that, I'd love to hear about it. So, like I said, appreciate you guys checking in on me. Hopefully this was semi-informative and interesting. Maybe. Mhm. If you did find it so or enjoyed just listening to me, please. I hate doing the YouTuber thing, but like the video, subscribe to my channel if you want to come back. Like I said, I might do another follow up here later when I go do my impressions and maybe when I get my permanents later down the road. So, like I said, subscribe and hang out with me during my journey. You can check out my other podcasts. I talk about them in my podcast too. It's on the channel. Hang out with my friends and chat about them. So, as always, thanks for hanging out.